So real quick, you hear this title, what do you automatically think of? The title is, what if you dove underwater at a pressure of 1,000 bars? What do you think of? Put it in the comment section. You automatically think of the Titanic submersible or the Titan submersible or what the name of it was. I can't remember. I think it was the Titan submersible. But you automatically go back to that traumatizing incident that we just went through and witnessed, right? So this still intrigues me because I'm still trying to wrap my mind around what they were thinking. But let's check the video out nonetheless.
There are places in the world that are better not to visit without special training. For example, a tiger cage or the top of a mountain. But sometimes no amount of preparation can help. Some places are simply deadly to anyone without protection.
Exactly.
And one of these is the Mariana Trench. In one of the previous videos, I explained what would happen to a steel ball at such a colossal depth. It's time to send a person there. In today's video, you're going to learn what would happen to the human body at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. I'm going to show you how serious and irreversible the damage would be, and how many seconds a person could spend at the deepest point before it would be life-threatening.
I didn't know I needed this information in my life, but I'm so intrigued and want it. Yes, I'm watching this.
As usual, I'll start with the basics. To get to the Mariana Trench, you need to go to the western region of the Pacific Ocean, to the Mariana Islands. The deepest point of the Mariana Trench is 10,994 meters, or 36,069 feet. This is in the Challenger Deep. This depth isn't considered suitable for life. It's dark, relatively cold, and there's not enough oxygen. But the most important thing is the pressure. In the Challenger Deep, this amounts to 108.6 megapascals. This is more than 1,072 times the normal atmospheric pressure at sea level. Even the water here is denser than normal seawater. It seems that such pressure would destroy any living organism. But the Mariana Trench is still inhabited. There are polychaete worms, some mollusks, deep-sea fish, sea cucumbers, and smaller life forms. Not a single fish that...
Now, I would ask, since they able to survive that, what happens when they leave that type of pressure? I wonder what happens to their body. And then secondly, that's why I continue to think, like, aliens are in the water, bro. Like, how do certain things just adapt? I know life finds a way, but just it's still mind-blowing to see how things adapt to like extreme pressures such as that.
Dwells at shallower depths, or any other underwater creature would survive if it suddenly found itself in the Challenger Deep. But what if you put a person there? Of course, people have already descended to this depth on various underwater vehicles. In fact, director James Cameron did it alone. But what about diving without the protection of the bathyscaphs? Would it be possible to just open the hatch and go outside once the machine reached the bottom of the Mariana Trench? The answer is pretty obvious. No. To exit the bathyscaph into the depths, you would need to open the entrance hatch. But the immense pressure would prevent you from doing so, even if you put all your strength into it. To achieve this, you'd need to equalize the pressure. Carefully open the hatch to allow water to flow in. It's possible that the stream of water coming through the gap would simply cut you in half.
Whoa, I was wondering, it's like protecting you from yourself anyway, because it'd be some idiot that would just go down there and just try it if they could. But to know that that much pressure won't allow you, and if water did get in there, Ginsu time, it's slicing and dicing you. That's a lot of pressure, bro.
After some time,
you pretty much just turn water into a lethal weapon, basically.
Pressure inside and outside would become equal. The hatch would open, but for you, it wouldn't matter. In general, taking one step and being at a depth of 11 kilometers or 7 miles isn't possible. So you'd have to use your imagination. Let's say that humanity had already invented teleportation and was actively using it. so actively that it would maybe even send some madman to the Mariana Trench. The pressure inside the person and the pressure outside when they reach this depth would be too different. The pressure difference would lead to flattening. For example, if you boil a little water in an aluminum jar and then put it in cold liquid, the jar shrinks dramatically. This is due to external pressure. A similar fate would await the human body. No modern diving suit would help, but the compression wouldn't occur instantly. It would all depend on the amount of time you spent at that depth. Let's say the trip lasted only a nanosecond or 1/1000th of a second. Then you were immediately returned to the surface. It may seem that such rapid movement wouldn't be felt at all. You wouldn't even have time to blink. Most likely that's true, except for a slight tingling sensation. Where would that come from? Teleportation is movement in space. If an object has mass, then its rapid movement from one point to another must occur with a large expenditure of energy for acceleration. But a nanosecond is a very small amount of time. Pressure wouldn't play a special role here. Because of the deceleration during teleportation, a large amount of energy would be transferred to the water. This would push the water away from your body. Therefore, when you return to land, you would feel a slight tingling sensation. Only this could testify that you just made a trip to the Mariana Trench. Let's raise the stakes. What would happen if you spent 1/1000th of a second at the bottom? This is still faster than the blink of an eye. Most likely, a person wouldn't be able to notice their teleportation. However, they would definitely feel it. This time, they would be there long enough for the external pressure to lead to a strong spasm. One moment, you'd be standing in a teleporter, and a second later, you'd feel a strong pain throughout your whole body. It wouldn't cause internal or external damage. The body wouldn't be deformed. You'd be alive. Even longer, 1/100th of a second at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. This would be long enough to make a terrible change. This time, the spasm would be stronger. A person could die from the pain of the shock. Despite the fact that the person would appear healthy, their organs would be damaged. This is about how the impact of firearms on the human body works, causing hydrostatic shock. This controversial concept has not been confirmed in practice, but so far, no one has arranged teleportation to such depths either. Now, 1/10th of a second. What normally seems like a short moment would feel like an eternity in the Mariana Trench, not because time moves differently there, but because for such a period, the pressure would definitely have enough time to kill a person. Surely, when you teleported, you'd automatically hold your breath. After all, you'd be going for a dive. But this would be a mistake. Because of the difference in pressure, the lungs would instantly be destroyed. Most likely, they would simply be torn apart. The other organs wouldn't escape this fate either. The person would return to the surface already dead, but would still look like a person. What about what?
Now, I know a lot of y'all thinking like me, like, okay, so will I feel? It probably happened so fast, you probably wouldn't even feel it. You know what I mean? I think they're drawing it out by saying, 1/10th of a second, this amount of a second. But once like he said, once the water cuts, it's going to do something to you with that type of pressure. So I doubt you feel it. At the chance of a blink of an eye, you'd be gone. Like, nobody's really making it out of that type of pressure alive. No. But they're going through the hypotheticals, which I like, but
is already dead, but would still look like a person. What about 1 second? You may have time to feel the temperature of the water, but it's unlikely that you'd be able to realize what had happened. This would be enough time for the Mariana Trench to literally crush a person completely. After 30 seconds at the bottom, the body would not only be damaged, but also have time to fill up with water. The enormous pressure would force water inside. All of the blood vessels would have burst by then, and the skin color would be pinkish. The person would look like a doll made of meat and bones, or a character from a horror movie. It's unlikely that anyone would be happy with such a finale. After 30 seconds at the bottom, a person could not be returned to the surface. What if we didn't use teleportation? Perhaps a person would be luckier if they...
Again, we're thinking about those gentlemen that were in that Titan submersible. So, and I don't think we did a few videos on it. I did a few videos on it, but I can't remember. I know they did equipment recovery, but I don't ever think, like they're saying here, I don't ever think a body recovery was ever found. Was there? There might have been. I'm gonna go back and check. I'll verify that on another video.
They gradually descended to the bottom. Maybe they could get used to the changes, but a depth of 11 kilometers or 7 miles is too long to hold your breath. Plus, the pressure, which would only increase as you dove, approximately every 10 meters or 30 feet. Maybe we could reach the bottom quickly. The sharp descent would have the same effect as teleportation. In addition, there are other dangers along the way from the surface to the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
You'd probably pass out going to those depths at a rapid speed, at a rapid rate. You'd probably pass out.
Example, predatory fish. Now, let's return to the inhabitants of the Mariana Trench of whom I spoke at the beginning. How are they still alive? These organisms, as a rule, don't have rigid bone support, and this characteristic saves their lives. Pressure in the Mariana Trench turns glass and wood to powder, whereas on the surface, the same creatures can turn into jelly. To survive at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deep-sea inhabitants have adapted to the conditions. Most likely, this occurred simultaneously with the movement of the lithospheric plates. As the trench became deeper, all of the ancestors of sea cucumbers adapted. Those that didn't simply died out.
A new push from a group of House lawmakers tonight demanding answers from the intelligence community on UFOs, answers they did not get during the historic UFO hearing. In a letter to the Inspector General, 6 members of Congress are asking for specific details about possible government UFO programs that Air Force veteran and former intelligence officer David Grush said he could not share publicly. The lawmakers say they are being blocked from reviewing all of that classified information. Grush first made the whistleblower claims exclusively here on...
Let's go back and read this. Hold on. It says, during the UAP hearing, David Grush testified he could not provide specific details about UAP crash retrieval programs or reverse engineering programs, but said the intelligence community inspector general could. So my colleagues and I wrote to him to ask for details.
All of that classified
This is getting interesting, bro. I love it. I'm here for it.
Information. Grush first made the whistleblower claims exclusively here on News Nation. He testified that he shared any information he had with the Inspector General.
And I know a lot of Congress talked about we're going to go to Area 51 and, and there's nothing there anymore anyway. It's just, and we moved like a glacier. As soon as we announce it, I'm sure the moving vans would pull up, but...
Thank you. Have we not been saying this? I know I'm on record saying that. It's no reason to go to these spots anymore, bro. They've been moved everything. Come on, man. It don't take a rocket scientist to know that what's going on behind the scenes right now or what has been taking place. Like you said, the vans, they done pulled in, packed out, and then gone. Took their stuff somewhere else.
Please.
I can't discuss that publicly, but I did provide that information both to the Intel committees and the Inspector General. I know the exact locations, and those locations were provided to the Inspector General and some of which to the intelligence committees. I actually had the people with the firsthand knowledge provide a protected disclosure to the Inspector General.
And so now lawmakers say they are going to go directly to the Inspector General. Tennessee Republican Representative Tim Burchett led the group behind that letter demanding information. Representative Burchett joins us now. Representative, I read the letter to the Inspector General. It was a good letter. The thing I was wondering, though, Congressman, is what if they just blow you off? Like, what if they get the letter, and do they have to respond? Do they have to answer any of? I think you had 3 really serious questions in there. Do they have to even answer them?
No, we all know they're gonna deny. They're gonna deny. Act like they don't know what he's talking about. They're gonna say he never contacted. He better have some more proof.
Yeah, they do technically, but of course they won't. This cover-up will continue, and I predict they're not going to let us have a select committee. They're going to go down the list and just shut this thing down. One, we got way too much publicity. We called way too much attention to the war pimps at the Pentagon. And other things, you know, we know how much money they're wasting on these wild programs, and they won't even release this information. They want more money to study it, yet they say they don't exist. Yet we have footage, Pentagon footage, or defense.
Of course they want more money because they're funneling it to other places. But they're using it to say, okay, we want to do this research on this specific area, but they're using that money for something totally different. We know that.
Department footage, you know, so it just goes down the list, and it's just a complete cover-up, top to bottom, this thing. And they're just trying to run the clock out. You look at the Tic Tac videos, not TikTok, but Tic Tac like the candy right there they denied they even existed, and then they were leaked, and then they came forward and said, in fact, they do exist. So it just continues. It's very frustrating, but they do it because they're allowed to do it, and because both sides of the aisle are compromised on this issue for whatever reason.
You don't sound as optimistic, Congressman. I think last time I spoke to you was just a couple days after the hearings, and you were sort of like on fire. I was getting this feeling like we were really going to get info. Tonight you sound a little more like you know, they're just shutting you down every way, and we might not find out anything.
We're going to keep digging, and I'm going to find something out. I mean, look what happened to poor David Grush. They discredited him. They attack a man that has PTSD. I mean, for goodness sakes, this is the United States of America. We ought to honor our veterans. Well, at least we do in Tennessee. We might not in Washington, D.C. And shame on both parties for allowing this, because this will provide a chilling effect to future whistleblowers. They will see this. They will see that we won't have a select committee. We won't be able to call this stuff in. We won't be able to provide them any protection. Whistleblowers will just be another name in the history books because we're gutless, and that's both parties.
Ooh, that's a shame to hear.
Ooh. He going in right now, and I can't say that I disagree with him. Y'all know how my stance on it, bro. Why do we not have a safe space for people to come forth with their testimony, to speak about things that they've either witnessed or having an account of, or recollection of, or experience, or abduction, or any type of thing? There should be a safe space. Why can't we have that? Why does a man's character have to be attacked? Why does he have to be smeared? Why does he have to be painted? And we've already caught you guys in a lie. He just spoke about it. Y'all totally denied and disregarded and said there was no such things. And then when the videos were leaked, what happened? What happened? So if anybody's credibility should be shot, it should be them.
Representative Luna said last week that you were trying to reinstitute Grush's security clearance so that you could get him in a confidential area where you could get more answers, because he's not allowed to talk openly about some of this stuff at the hearings. Any progress on that? Do you think that may happen soon?
No, and that's why my friend Matt Gaetz suggested and actually requested the select committee from the speaker and the chairman of the committee. So it's really in their court right now. If the UFO community wants to request their congressman to get on board with this, I think it would be a good thing. I think if they got a few emails showing the seriousness of this nature, because like I said in the hearing, we're not bringing out Little Green Man. We're not bringing out a flying saucer. We just want transparency, man. This is ridiculous. It's it's an agency that never has passed an audit. At one time, the Department of Defense were told 60% of their assets are unaccounted for. I mean, if you and I had that, brother, we'd be in jail. We would be in jail if it was our business or any other entity, but it's the Pentagon, and they're allowed to do it.
Right, and our elected leaders like you don't even know where the money's going, which is kind of unbelievable. I want to ask you about this. I'm so interested in this. Congress still has to vote on the National Defense Appropriations Act. Senator Schumer put that portion in there that requires disclosure when it comes to UFOs, which was a big deal if that requirement makes it in. But I heard you, I think it was last week, saying that you don't think it's going to make it in, that you think it's going to get cut out. I mean, what's that all about? You really think that's going to happen?
What I think I really meant to say was that it gets it in, it's not going to do anything. What it is, it provides, if you dig into it, provides a clearinghouse. So we're going to have the Pentagon, again, unelected bureaucrats who've never fired a shot in anger, sitting behind a desk somewhere, deciding what photos, what information comes out on an issue they said does not exist. And they have video footage of it from their own members showing that it does. We have testimony of these pilots chasing these UFOs. Yet, it's just a complete circle. They say they don't exist, but send us money. And I'm sure Senator Schumer and good due diligence, but he's a tax and spend liberal. He's going to put millions in there for the Pentagon to release this stuff. Look, all I want is transparency. Release the files. Let me handle it. I think I can handle it. They still won't release the Kennedy assassination files 60 years ago. Nobody's even alive.
It's like just tell the American people what's going on and let them decide.
So the next time you hear somebody say, "Oh, well, no one's above the law," just stare at them. Don't say nothing. Just stare at them. Because we all know that's BS. Complete BS.
And for themselves what to think, whether you believe in UFOs or not. Maybe it's some other kind of technology. But I'm interested to see if that gets pulled out of the National Defense Appropriations Act. I think that'll be really telling if for some reason they pulled that line out. But we'll stay on it, Congressman. I know you are too, behind the scenes, and we'll get back with you soon. Thanks for coming on.
It wouldn't be out there if it wasn't for y'all. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll stay on it. That's why we have you on. You gotta keep the pressure on. So
thanks so much for watching.
Man, y'all spam the like button, bro. God, I love this stuff.